Jordan, if you took every single Bitcoin currently in existence, a single company in California is holding 12% of it. That is roughly 2.5 million Bitcoin sitting in one vault.
Wait, 12%? That's not just a big player. That's essentially the central bank of the digital age. We're talking about Coinbase, right?
Exactly. They aren't just an exchange where you buy and sell, they've become the world's biggest Bitcoin custodian. They hold over $500 billion in assets.
It's wild because crypto started as this anti-establishment, be your own bank movement. Now everyone is just giving their keys to these guys. How did we get here?
It started in 2012, which is basically the Stone Age for crypto. Brian Armstrong was an engineer at Airbnb, and he saw how difficult it was to send money globally. He teamed up with Fred Ehrsam, a former trader at Goldman Sachs, to build a simple bridge.
So you have the tech disruptor and the Wall Street suit. That's a powerful combo. What was the pitch? Because back then, people thought Bitcoin was just for buying illegal things on the dark web.
Their pitch was radical simplicity. At the time, if you wanted Bitcoin, you had to run complex code or use sketchy overseas exchanges that looked like they were designed in 1995. Armstrong wanted to make buying Bitcoin as easy as buying a stock on E-Trade.
But did the regulators just let them do that? Financial authorities usually hate anything they can't control, especially 10 years ago.
That was their secret sauce. While other exchanges were playing cat and mouse with the law, Coinbase went the opposite direction. They embraced regulation from day one, getting money transmitter licenses in every state they could. They chose the slow, boring path of being law-abiding.
So they were the good kids in a classroom full of rebels. That sounds like a great way to get crushed by the guys willing to break the rules for speed.
It actually did the opposite. While competitors like Mt. Gox were collapsing due to hacks and mismanagement, Coinbase built a reputation for security. They became the safe place for your parents to buy their first fraction of a Bitcoin.
But reputations don't get you to 100 million users. What was the turning point that made them the giants they are today?
The 2017 crypto boom changed everything. Suddenly, everyone wanted in. And Coinbase was the only app in the US App Store that made it feel like a real bank. They didn't just survive the mania, they scaled through it, eventually becoming a public company in 2021.
Going public is a massive deal. That's the ultimate validation from the traditional financial system. But I remember that IPO, it was huge, then the market crashed shortly after. How did they hold up?
They pivoted, they moved from just being a retail shop for individuals to being the backbone for institutions. When BlackRock and Fidelity decided they wanted to offer Bitcoin ETFs to their clients, who did they call to actually hold the coins? Coinbase.
That explains the 12% figure you mentioned earlier. They aren't just holding for grandma, they're holding for the biggest hedge funds on earth.
Right. They also revolutionized their own corporate structure by going remote first. In 2025, this company with $500 billion under management has no physical headquarters. They exist entirely in the cloud, just like the currency they sell.
It's a bit ironic. They provide the most physical feeling security for a currency that doesn't physically exist, all from a company that doesn't have a physical office.
It matters because Coinbase is the primary bridge between the trillions of dollars in traditional finance and the world of blockchain. If Coinbase fails, the institutional experiment with crypto likely fails with it.
They've essentially become too big to fail for the digital economy. If they hold 11% of all staked Ether and 12% of Bitcoin, they are a massive systemic risk, aren't they?
That's the central tension. They've brought crypto to the masses by centralizing a decentralized technology. They provide the guardrails, the insurance, and the legal compliance that big banks require before they touch Bitcoin.
So they've basically turned the Wild West into a regulated suburban shopping mall. It might be less exciting, but it's where all the money is.
Exactly. They've proved that for crypto to go mainstream, it had to stop looking like a revolution and start looking like a brokerage account. They are the gatekeepers now.
All right, Alex, give it to me straight. What is the one thing to remember about Coinbase?
Coinbase succeeded by being the only player in the room willing to ask for the government's permission instead of their forgiveness.
That's a win for the spreadsheets, even if the cypherpunks hate it. That's Wikipodia. Every story on demand. Search your next topic at wikipodia.ai.